As war seemed inevitable, on May 23, 1967, NSA Director General Marshall Carter communicated via telegram to the Joint Chiefs of Staff, "The present situation in the Middle East has resulted in NSA declaring a SIGINT readiness. In order to augment coverage in the area, the diversion of the U.S.S. Liberty is considered a necessary course of action in view of the Liberty's excellent collection, processing, and reporting capabilities, and her ability to remain on station for extended periods." The ship, armed with only 4 50-caliber machine guns and an infirmary with a capacity of 4 patients for almost 300 men, was anything but a battleship. Further, its unusual mast antenna configuration gave away the ship's spy capabilities to the point that they had been surveilled off the coast of Southwest Africa on 2 separate deployments. There's also the fact that, according to an official Israeli inquiry, an observer aboard an Israeli spy plane had identified the ship as the U.S. Navy ship Liberty, just one of some 8 reconnaissance flights over the Liberty through the morning and into the afternoon. Despite no nation ever having attacked a spy ship, the Liberty was the target of an hour-long attack, including strafing from jets, napalm, and later torpedo boats who launched a torpedo into the ship's hull, all in all, killing 34 sailors. The ship's captain, William McGonigal, reported to the official U.S. Navy Court of Inquiry, "When the boats reached an approximate range of 2,000 yards, it appeared that they were flying an Israeli flag." This was later verified. Secretary of State Dean Rusk minced no words in his stinging rebuke to the Israeli ambassador to the U.S. At the time of the attack, the U.S.S. Liberty was flying the American flag, and its identification was clearly indicated in large white letters and numerals on its hull. It was broad daylight, and the weather conditions were excellent. Experience demonstrates that both the flag and the identification number of the vessel were readily visible from the air. At 2:50 local time on June 8, 1967, 2 Israeli aircraft circled the U.S.S. Liberty 3 times, with the evident purpose of identifying the vessel. Accordingly, there is every reason to believe that the U.S.S. Liberty was identified, or at least her nationality determined, by Israeli aircraft approximately 1 hour before the attack. In these circumstances, the later military attack by Israeli aircraft on the U.S.S. Liberty is quite literally incomprehensible. The silhouette and conduct of the U.S.S. Liberty readily distinguished it from any vessel that could have been considered as hostile. The U.S.S. Liberty was peacefully engaged, posed no threat whatsoever to the torpedo boats, and obviously carried no armament affording it combat capability. It could and should have been scrutinized visually at close range before torpedoes were fired. The Israelis responded by blaming the United States. The government of Israel regrets that it was not given prior information by the government of the United States of the presence of a United States vessel. It would be appreciated if the government of Israel could be given timely information of the approach by United States vessels to shores where the Israeli Defense Forces are in authority. The National Security Council called it a terrible note. The Naval Court of Inquiry was undertaken by Admiral Isaac Kidd Jr. with Chief Counsel Ward Boston. They concluded the attack was a case of mistaken identity. However, years later, Boston admitted in a sworn affidavit President Lyndon Johnson and Secretary of Defense Robert McNamara ordered them to conclude that the attack was a case of mistaken identity despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. A damning conclusion he made during the investigation was that the evidence was clear. Both Admiral Kidd and I believed with certainty that this attack, which killed 34 American sailors and injured 172 others, was a deliberate effort to sink an American ship and murder its entire crew. The NSA director concurred. It couldn't be anything else but deliberate. As did an official CIA history. Many informed Americans soon came to believe that the assault had been anything but accidental. CIA initially resisted this judgment, but the cumulative weight of the evidence rapidly undermined this position. Said then CIA Director Richard Helms himself, "I don't think that there can be any doubt that the Israelis knew exactly what they were doing." Following this attack, on June 14th, AIPAC's Cy Kennan bragged that in Congress, just about everybody is voting in support of Israel's position.